Chris, what is the significance of the title, Heights?
Well, Heights was the title of the original one-act play that that Amy Fox wrote, and then
That's enough. Okay. All right. Was it your idea or Glenn Close's idea to have dark hair?
well, originally it was Glenn's idea, and then we thought very hard about it, but ultimately I approved when we saw what it would look like.
Okay. We were all saddened by the death of Ismail Merchant. Did he have a chance to see this film?
Ismail did, and from what I'm told, he was proud of the film. I was in London a couple of.
That's good. Okay. One second. What did you want to accomplish with this film?
Well, I wanted to give a little window into a small world of New York and a few people.
That's fine. Okay. I don't know what your budget was for this, but I assume it was not a huge budget. And yet you have all these name actors, wonderful actors. How did you manage to assemble such a magnificent cast for this film?
Well, we kind of won the lottery as far as the cast goes, and sort of by hook and by crook, each actor was a different story, really.
That's fine. Okay. All right. Now we can. Chris, appreciate your coming to Dallas so we can talk about Heights. And first of all, let me ask you, what's the significance of the title, Heights?
Well, Heights was the title of the original scene that the movie's based on. It was a one-act play, kind of a short 20-minute play that involved three of the characters. But then, as we began developing it, I liked the idea of the title. It's sort of an abstract noun, almost like Magnolia or something, because when you have a story about many characters, it's hard to figure out what the focus is. So Heights leaves it open for interpretation, but it's also about the aspirations of the characters and where they're trying to go in their lives, and also just about the skyscape, the cityscape of New York. I mean, after September 11th, we lost a lot of the romance of the soaring towers of the city. So I really wanted to visually kind of bring that back a little bit in the film. So the title refers to a lot of things, I think.
For a low-budget film, you have a very high-dollar cast. How did you manage to get this wonderful cast of characters and actors together?
Well, we got very lucky with the cast. We sort of won the lottery, and just by hook and by crook. I mean, Eric Bogosian we got because I approached him kind of drunkenly at the Gotham Awards with a script and asked him to do it. The other actors, I mean, Rufus Wainwright, I just wanted to put him in a movie, and he agreed to meet me for coffee, and he agreed to do it. Michael Murphy, we tracked him down in Toronto where he lives, and we called up there and asked if he would do it, and he said sure. George Segal happened to be in New York on vacation for a couple of weeks, and we got him to come down and do it for a day. So yeah, we each was sort of an individual story, but we were very lucky.
How about Glenn Close? How'd you get her?
Well, I had met Glenn on the set of a film called The Divorce. I was doing the behind the scenes. I was the camera guy for behind the scenes. And because Glenn and I were the only English speakers on set, the lowest guy on the set ended up talking to the big star. So I had met Glenn that way. And then when I first looked at the character of Diana that would become Glenn's part, I thought we could really tailor this to Glenn. So I started kind of molding the character around her wit, her sense of humor, her intelligence, and then sent her the script. And a few days later, she said she wanted to meet me, and that's how it all took off.
Whose idea was it for Glenn Close to be a brunette?
Well, it was Glenn's idea to be a brunette. I think partially because the character superficially resembles Glenn in a way, and I almost feel as if she needed that sort of difference in appearance to really get under the skin of the character. I mean, Glenn is a film and television actress who lives in New York, who is a single mom with a daughter, and I mean, one can't overstate the comparisons because of course Diana and Glenn are very, very different people. But I almost feel as if the brown hair freed up Glenn to be a completely different person and to really get into the skin of the character. And it was great for shooting because we could have Glenn out in the crowds in New York and no one recognized her. So we didn't have people stopping her for her autograph all the time. It actually made shooting a lot more convenient.
We were all saddened by the death of Ismail Merchant. Did he ever get to see the film?
Ismail did see the finished film, and I think he was proud of it. I mean, this was one of Ismail's babies. He really wanted to do a movie back in New York, because the company Merchant Ivory is actually headquartered in New York, even though most people associate them with London and Paris and Europe. So he wanted to do a movie all shot on location in the city, and he saw the film. And actually, I flew over to London when he died tragically, and one of his nieces told me that he'd called her in India and said how proud he was of this film. So I think Ismail really did like what we did.
Is this the last film then that he was associated with?
Well, no, there's one more Merchant Ivory film in the can, which is called The White Countess, which stars Ralph Fiennes and Natasha Richardson and Vanessa and Lynn Redgrave. It was shot in Shanghai, and it's about China in the 1930s. So that will come out in the fall, and then that will have been the last movie that Ismail actually produced. Although I think the company does want to keep going. They have some things in the works, and I think they will, to kind of continue Ismail's legacy.
Is there anyone for James Ivory to hook up with as far as a producing partner?
Well, there are other sort of executive producers at Merchant Ivory who worked under Ismail and really learned under Ismail Merchant. So I think James Ivory probably will work with them. Of course, I mean, no one will ever replace Ismail in the universe, but I think that other producers who have been Ismail's apprentices hopefully have learned well from him and will continue to do what he did.
Well, and he brought you along, didn't he?
He sure did. I mean, I don't think there will ever be anyone in my life who did as much for me. I mean, I was 25, about to turn 26 when he gave me this job, and I mean, he must have been either crazy that day or just a generous, warm-hearted person to give an untested person the chance to do this. So I'm very grateful to him every day.
I think you're all too modest. I think he saw a young man with possibilities and with talents, so don't be too hard on yourself.
Well, thank you, but Ismail and James are really sort of unique, special people in that they just want to protect filmmakers and let them do their thing. They don't care about the bottom line. They just want to do good material and help people that they believe in.
Well, I'm a huge Merchant Ivory fan, and I have met both of them on several occasions, and I have nothing but the greatest admiration for them.
Well,
So,
I will tell James that, and thank you.
thank you so much. Good
Thank
to
you,
see
Bobby.
you, Chris.
Good to see you.
That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions, sir.